So I see families think, hey, estate planning is only for wealthy people, when in reality, it's about control. It's about a sense of dignity, autonomy. Nobody wants to think about what's going to happen after they pass away. So I enjoy being an advocate for people in that regard and guiding them through that decision-making process. I cannot tell you how many times I've been called to the bedside of somebody in hospice, and they just don't have the capacity to execute these documents.
It's too late at that point.
And then it goes to probate.
Get your documents in place, and that is the best gift you can give to your family. Good morning. Welcome to our podcast of New Wave Home Care. Connecting is Caring. At Connecting is Caring, what we do is we try to connect the resources within the community. We try to connect the stories within the community. We try to connect the hidden gems within our community. So we have one wonderful guest today with us, Darren Manley. Darren, thank you for joining our podcast today.
My pleasure.
Darren is a attorney specialized in estate planning.
Correct.
Do you also do the trust administration part of it?
Trust administration, probate, and estate planning.
Estate planning, that's what you do.
And a bit of litigation as well.
A bit of litigation. So you do everything.
Yes.
Okay. So before we get to all the details, let's start with getting to know you a little bit. So if you can tell me a little bit about your childhood, what led up to you becoming an attorney?
My childhood, that's an interesting topic. Well, I was born in 1984 here in LA County, and my parents were older. My dad was 57 and my mom was 44. So my dad had actually been in the Army in World War II. And that gave me a bit of a different perspective growing up. We lived in El Sereno for the first 3 years of my life. And then we bought a house in Temple City in San Gabriel Valley, where we've been ever since. I went to college in Indiana, which was a wonderful experience. And then came back.
Is it the same Indiana college that won the national championship?
Unfortunately not. It was a junior college called Holy Cross College, which is right across the street from Notre Dame. So that school's won a lot of championships, but no, unfortunately not Indiana.
Okay.
And then when I came home from college, my dad was getting to the age, he was in his 70s, where he started having surgeries. He started just needing more care. And I was the only child. So that responsibility fell to me. And at the time, I sort of viewed it as a burden because I wanted to go out. I wanted to be with friends.
And have fun.
And sort of find my own way in life. But looking back on it, it was a great growth experience for me. And currently right now, the situation I'm in, I'm taking care of my 85-year-old mom. Practice law during the day, and then I take off the lawyer hat at night and spend time with her. So,
and she lives with you?
She lives with me, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been very fortunate to kind of come full circle in that regard.
In your, in our emails, you said law is your second career. So what did you do before you decided to become a lawyer?
I worked in public libraries for 15 years. And I did that because I love writing. I'm also a screenwriter. I've been fortunate enough to have some of my work.
Oh, wow. Screenwriting.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have some of my work optioned by some studios and just enough to keep me into it and know that I'm on to something. But I loved being around books and I loved being around people. And customer service, as you probably know, it's not easy. You deal with families and peoples of all backgrounds who have different needs and problems coming to you every day. And so the experience of being the front-facing person in a public institution gave me customer service skills, some patience. And then after that, I worked for the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA for 4 years during the pandemic, also while I was going to law school. And that job kind of gave me a healthy respect for healthcare workers and just seeing how administration works in a time of crisis.
Which law school did you go to?
Glendale College of Law.
Glendale College.
Part-time evening. And I was also fortunate enough to have the support of my family because we were raising 2 young kids at the time too.
Oh, very nice. And you were exposed to, at a very young age, to the concept of aging, care, death. How did that shape you in your life?
Well, at first, it kind of made me feel like I was a bit different. And I feel like we all feel different for our own personal reasons. For me, it was because my dad listened to different music, had a different view of the world than the parents of my friends, which led me to, kind of rebel a little bit against them and not get along in my teenage years. I guess we all rebel in our teenage years a bit. But then that full circle that I talked about seeing him get older and unable to run around on a field with me anymore or play baseball, things like that. It gave me a new sense of responsibility, and that's carried into my legal work because a lot of my clients are older.
Mm-hmm.
It's given me a bit of empathy. I appreciate that. It was a gift that my parents gave me. I don't think they expected to have me, but it was a gift of perspective that they gave me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And did that influence your choice of estate planning, probate, and things like that as a career choice for you within the law?
I went into law school thinking that this is what I was going to do. Then I did a stint at the DA's office doing preliminary hearings during law school. I clerked there. So I became fascinated by criminal law. But then when I graduated, I came back to this because I realized it's a much more fascinating area of the law than people give it credit for. You're helping guide people through some of the most important decisions that they'll make, and uncomfortable ones too. Nobody wants to think about what's going to happen after they pass away. So I enjoy being an advocate for people in that regard and guiding them through that decision-making process.
So, I mean, when it comes to estate planning, what's one of the biggest misconception people have?
I'll start by saying I had misconceptions when I came into this field, because in law school, you learn about trusts and wills and things like that. But it's only when you start practicing that you understand the nuances and all the tools that are available to an estate planner. So I see families think, hey, estate planning is only for wealthy people. It's only for people that want to pass on generational wealth, avoid paying unnecessary taxes, things like that. When in reality, it's about control.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a sense of dignity, autonomy. Another misconception that I see clients make is that a will in and of itself will avoid probate, which it doesn't.
It does.
Some clients just come to me and they say, I want a will. And then I have to guide them and say, this might be a more time-intensive option now to create a trust package. But a trust is essentially a private contract between you, the trustee, and your beneficiary. It keeps it out of the public domain. On the other end of the coin, the last thing I'll say is that for those wealthy families,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many tools available to ensure that those people's wishes are satisfied and that the money stays where they want it to stay. Many more than I thought when I started out.
So in simple words, know what your wishes are and then develop the instruments for making sure that your wishes are carried out.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wonderful. And what are the most common disputes that you would see, let's say, between siblings after a parent has passed away? And since you do the litigation, I'm sure you see a lot of that. Right?
Oh, yes. There's a few of them. The first, I can say I'm an only child,
Uh-huh.
but as a caretaker, I've seen this among siblings. Usually, taking care of an older parent falls upon one sibling more than the others.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's proximity or emotional proximity, or they just take it on, that leads that one sibling to think, hey, I've invested all this effort and all this time in taking care of mom or dad. What they leave me in their estate plan should reflect that. It should be changed perhaps to honor the commitment that I've made. On the other side of the coin, you have the other siblings who maybe live in other states or just haven't been as close. They might see that caretaker sibling spending money on home care, or maybe they're just spending it on delivery takeout because they're too tired that day to cook.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that money's coming out of mom or dad's bank account. And they could say, hey, why are you spending this money? You're draining the estate, even nominally, of assets. And that leads to confusion at times. Other disputes that I see among siblings could be when one child gets a gift, say a car, college tuition. Is that an advance on an expected inheritance, or is it a true gift? Siblings will argue about that quite frequently because it'll drain the estate of assets and lead to conflict that way. And another way that the final way that I've seen is sometimes mom and dad will make 2 or 3 siblings co-trustees of a trust.
That is actually my next question. What is the one big mistake you make when you do the estate planning?
Co-trustees of a trust, they give them joint authority, meaning all of them have to agree on a certain plan of action. I've seen this within my own family network, and I've seen it with clients, and I always counsel it's a bad idea because Every sibling has different wants, needs, and most importantly, opinions. It just complicates the administration of that estate infinitely.
Yeah, so multiple decision makers are always a bad idea.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong because...
Have you seen similarly or?
We do see that. And, we are not party to the decision-making process.
Sure.
But we are privy to what happens if a certain choice was made in the past and how it affects them.
Right.
We get to see that.
Okay.
So our position is not to judge, but regardless, we see what the family go through.
Yeah.
And so I can relate to what you said.
Of course.
So what happens when a parent becomes incapacitated and there's no power of attorney in place?
Well, in a word, a conservatorship, the durable power of attorney and the advanced healthcare directive are the two of the three most important documents that any estate plan should have. And those two are particularly important because the durable power of attorney continues after incapacity. It grants a trusted family member or another agent the ability to make financial decisions for someone who truly can't. And the advanced healthcare directive clearly lays out your wishes medically.
Yeah.
What to do in a situation like that. So absent those documents, a conservatorship will most likely ensue. That is time intensive, 45 to 90 days to establish. It involves a court. It's public and it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The Britney Spears case, obviously the very famous case that brought the word conservatorship to all of our lips. But it happens every day right here in courts in this county. And it's very expensive and time consuming for these families.
Right. But we also have seen really good examples of conservatorships.
Oh, sure.
Doing amazing job for the clients.
When necessary, absolutely.
Yeah, when necessary. Yeah. It is best to avoid it, but I think particularly in Manley, I have seen professional fiduciaries taking on conservatorship and doing amazing job.
And that's a best case scenario. If you've got somebody who's a neutral third party stepping in, who's truly trained to not only handle a conservatorship of the estate and of the person, but also can be that voice of reason.
Right.
That's critical.
So if someone were listening to this podcast and they haven't done anything yet, what are the three most important documents that you recommend they have in place?
So I listed two of them, that durable power of attorney for financial affairs assets, the advanced healthcare directive. Those two documents give the principal, the person granting those powers, autonomy, a voice, agency. Do you wish to be cremated? Do you wish to be kept on or taken off life support? Those are critical. And then a revocable living trust, or a trust that is uniquely tailored to your family situation. There are so many revocable and irrevocable trusts designed for people of all incomes, all backgrounds, all dispositions. And again, that is a private contract that stays out of court unless it's contested.
Okay.
But if properly drafted, it will stay out of court. And that's what myself and the many wonderful estate planning attorneys that I've met in this area are supposed to do.
Wonderful. Darren, this has been really very important information that you shared. And professionally, from my own experience too, I have seen the positive side when families do the right thing at the right time. I have seen the clients and the client families benefit from the process. So everything you said is spot on and very essential. So thank you really for sharing that. If anyone were to reach out to you, how would they connect with you? How would they find you?
The best place to reach me would be my website, darrenmanleylaw.com. All of my contact information is on there, as well as information about the services that I provide. If I'm not able to provide them, I have a vast network of other professionals. You talked about fiduciaries. You talked about people in other capacities. I would be happy to refer you, and look forward to hearing from anybody who's listening and anybody that I could be an advocate for.
Thank you, Darren. This has been really wonderful.
Thank you.
And for anyone who's listening, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Don't do that. Reach out to Darren or a good other estate planning attorney. get your documents in place, and that is the best gift you can give to your family.
Yes. And the last thing I'd add is don't wait too long. And that's not a sales pitch. I cannot tell you how many times I've been called to the bedside of somebody in hospice, and they just don't have the capacity to execute these documents.
It's too late at that point.
And then it goes to probate.
Thank you, Darren. This has been wonderful, and thank you for coming on our podcast.
Take care. Thank you.